Dead End is a Christmas horror film that I would also label as a bit comical because it definitely is, whether it's intentional or not, or whether it's going for like black comedy or not. I certainly will add comedy into this film. This is directed by Jean-Baptiste Andrea and Fabrice Canepa, if I'm pronouncing those correctly. They're both French directors, or Parisian directors, however you want to say it. And yeah, this one came out in 2003. The most recognizable person in it for me was Lin Shaye, but this film also has Ray Wise in it, which I didn't like. I recognized his face at first, and he's from Jeepers Creepers 2. He's from a slew of other things. But after, yeah, looking up his name, he's the other bigger actor in the film, kind of thing. And what this is about is I've heard about it a lot, so it's always been on my list, and I heard it was bonkers. I've seen some other reviews on it, and I definitely heard that it's interesting to say the least. What we have going on here is basically it's a road trip film. This family is traveling for Christmas, I believe on Christmas Eve, to go visit family. The mother's family, played by Lin Shaye, she plays a woman named Laura, and they get lost in this very rural road. And in this very rural road, strange things start to happen, especially when they start to pull over and they start being picked off one by one. There's a situation where there's this hearse-like car driving down the road, and every once in a while it'll drive by, and somebody who was just killed off in their family, kind of thing, will be in the back of the hearse, kind of like banging on the window, kind of thing, and just really strange, supernatural stuff starts going on. So that's basically the general premise, and I don't want to go heavy on the spoilers on this one, just in case anybody hasn't seen it. I know this is quite like not. This is an older film, like 2003, so it's just over 20 years old. But just in case nobody hasn't seen it, this is the kind of film that's an experience, and it should definitely be experienced. There's some bizarre shit that goes on. This film deals with like shock, like going into shock, and like mental torment very, very interestingly. I don't know if it's good or bad because it's definitely strange and unique, but the characters will act very strangely and very like they're losing their minds essentially whenever somebody gets killed, or they'll go into these states of shock that they just start acting very bizarre. Like there's really random things that happen. There's for example, Lin Shaye, there's this scene involving her eating a pie. It's just, it comes out of nowhere. It's so ridiculous, and it's kind of it's bonkers. This film is just bonkers to say the least, and I don't know when it comes to this style of filmmaking if it is intentional or not, or if it's just like a language barrier, translation issue, cultural issue kind of thing, being that the directors and the writers are French and they're making a full-on American film. But yeah, like it's just, you're watching this and it's like, this just feels comical, and this feels like a bad B movie, but kind of in the best way. And like I said, mostly this film is an experience, and that's why I don't want to go too heavy on spoilers. But it is spooky and creepy too, and I like the way they filmed a lot of the cinematography and the shots that they chose. There's some upper like camera angles where you're viewing the car drive down the road kind of thing, and it's one road in a mist of like just pure trees kind of thing. It almost feels a little bit like in the tall grass. They really do a good like claustrophobic job in showing where these people are kind of thing. And they'll add some fog sometimes, and the scenes that they do in the forest parts of things are really cool. I think everybody's performances at least were good in the sense that they definitely delivered what they were asked to do. And when people, like I said, again, when they're in shock, when they're frightened and scared to death, they definitely portray it well, and you can see that these people are really like not slowly but really intensely losing their sanity. Another thing about these films is that most characters, like the vast majority of them, I'd say more than 90% of the characters, are very unlikable. At least they were to me. I cannot stand the character of Richard. There's five of them in total. There's Laura and Frank, played by Lin Shaye and Ray Wise, and then there's three I guess they're kids. Richard, Mary Ann, and I don't know why I'm blanking on the last guy's name, but he's one of the ones that gets picked off sooner, closer to the beginning of the film. But yeah, most of them are unlikable, but Richard is just a pain in the ass. This guy is making the dumbest, most unclever jokes towards everybody in the car at all times, and nothing that comes out of his mouth is like funny or smart or in any way humorous. He's just this dumb, like childish acting kid. And at one point during a pit stop, you think he's going to go into the forest and like pee or something, but he carries a poster into the forest and he actually like pins it on a tree and uses a lighter so he can have a jerk before he gets back into the vehicle. Like shit like that will happen in this film that is just so random. And I'm sitting there before it happens. I'm like, don't tell me you're gonna jerk one out in your spare time. Like, are you serious right now? Okay, yeah, you're actually serious right now. And it's just dumb shit like that that continuously happen. Like, that's one little element of like many things that go on in this film. So like I said, it's an experience, and I'm really trying to talk about this film without like spoiling a lot. But it's very isolated too. A lot of it takes place in a car or just on the road, and then here and there you'll get like scenes in the forest and like this little shack or something like that. But it is a very isolated film, and there's a lot of dialogue, strange and humorous dialogue again. But it's an interesting one. It's an interesting watch, and it's streaming on Tubi right now. So if you've never seen it, I do suggest checking it out. Not sure if you're going to love it or hate it, but it's definitely something that needs to be seen to be believed and experienced. So that's what I got on Dead End. I'm glad I finally got to check it out. I had a great time with it. It's like, it's the highly enjoyable kind of bad movie. And bad movie, I mean, like it's enjoyable, so it's not necessarily a bad movie, but it's crazy bonkers, to say the least. So yeah, that's Dead End. And it's a good time. And Lin Shaye's good as always. And so is Ray Wise. I haven't really seen him too much around, but everything I have seen him in, he's really good when he shows up. So, but yeah, go check out Dead End on Tubi if you want. Subscribe to Morgan the Film Fan if you'd like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more soon, so stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming. Until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.